And we're live with game number 2 here in this PlayVS Trios Fortnite playoffs. We're about to hop on in with our Saints looking to go over into the same location as per usual. Definitely going to be looking for a bit of a rebound after game number 1. Getting shut down rather early always stings, especially when every single game counts now to put you as high as possible. And it looks like the Saints are going to be landing pretty much uncontested again, which means we are going to go battle hunting here for a team at the bottom. If it will let me click on them, maybe, maybe not, but when it does end up happening, I will be sure to, or you'll see it nonetheless. Of course, that being players from the side of UCLA and the side of Michigan State as well. We didn't really get to see a whole heck of a lot of Michigan State last time by. Kind of got shut down a little bit quickly. It looks like as of right now, down by the hedges, it seems a little bit quiet. Both of the teams just kind of taking their own sides of it and not really trying to deal with each other. At the same time, though, gonna end up using resources pretty quickly, just in case. You don't want to get blasted right off the bat. So far, so good there. No real engagement as of this moment. Meanwhile, taking a look at the rest of the map here and looking at the first storm location, it does not look too bad here for our St. Clair squad, as they do not have to move very far at all this time in order to make it into the safe zone. In fact, all these players here down Holly Hedges are basically safe already, so nice little perk there for them. We do have ourselves a bit of an outlier of sorts this time by, as we do have... Who is this up in the far end, actually, who's going off of their usual style of sorts, I believe. Okay, so we have Ciriuhs. Ciriuhs is from the University of Western Ontario, which, as per the sheet I have here, says they should not that they shouldn't be there, but they haven't been there at least in the last couple sessions, the last PlayVS heats that were on Monday. So, especially with Seb and Empty, they were eliminated extremely early, actually, in that last one. So, I don't blame them for trying to make a change. But of course, Saints rather uncontested to get things all started off this time by once again. Digging all the treasure out by Griff Castle, or Castle Griffin. Laysix with an okay loadout to start things off. Has a little bit of everything in regards to a little close range, a little medium range, and a little bit of long range. However, that submachine gun will definitely want to be swapped out for an assault rifle at some point forward. Taking a look at Juneyy. Of course, Juneyy not necessarily too afraid to use the SMG compared to some of the other players on this session. Got himself a gold one, I think, in game number 1. Now he's got himself a purple once again. And Ciriuhs, once again, find himself build the short end of the stick here. Only a gray assault rifle alongside a couple greens in regards to the shotgun and the arrow. So, I mean, he can find engagements, but he's not going to be hitting very hard compared to some of these other players. One thing to take note of as well here as we do ready to get into the meat and potatoes of such here for game number 2. One of the teams in this... as playoff sessions. I don't know if they just had themselves a bad game or what, but they have already either missed the queue or they already called it a night. They did not like how game number 1 went. We had 32 teams to start off this series and down to 31 before we even get ourselves into the game. Definitely a little unfortunate. I definitely understand where they're coming from, where game 1 basically goes wrong, and with these finals, it's basically going to be consistency, right? Who's going to be at the end the most times than not? Who's going to be the ones doing all the eliminations? Players that are spiking but then dropping, spiking and then dropping are probably going to be some of the players that are going to be hurting near the very end of this session. I still like seeing players try to at least finish it up nonetheless. Now we do see from the south, Saints are getting peppered already. Ciriuhs going to be forced to chug that potion already. Laysix taking a little bit of heat as well from the south. We see in the green just up ahead here. Oompst is in that area. Not going to let me click, but we're going to see some shots fired here towards the players. Saints looking to make their move into the safe zone nice and quick, it looks like. Already right on the border. Meanwhile, there's still about 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock before that storm actually makes it all the way. And sure enough, the Saints will be moving towards the Holly Hedges side of things. More shots fired here for Laysix. Does manage to tag somebody up. Saints definitely taking their time of sorts here, and they can definitely do that. It's still 2 minutes before the storm even gets anywhere close to them. Couple more players falling here in other parts of the game. And with Dr. Duke going down, that's going to be Ashland already hurting a little bit here. Not completely eliminated, but losing a couple members already. Definitely going to sting for them. But of course, that's one of the benefits of it being trios. You just need one player to make it to the end in order to get yourself points for your team based off positioning. Because of course, it does not matter how many players make it to the end, or as long as there's somebody who makes it. We have shots fired from the outside. This is going to be Laysix just trying to destroy a car, so a little bit of a false alarm here. Just going to be quickly gathering up some parts. Saints into the safe zone and pretty well uncontested as of right now, so far so good in that regard. As they move on forward, however, they are going to have to watch out for Wakami, Skilla, and Coach Monkey. Of course, our fellow Canadian rivals there over at York University. I mean, Saints find themselves in a decent position up on the high ground, but that storm position is not going to be doing them any favors. Once again, we're going to hop on over and take a look and see where exactly they're going to go. Pretty similar positioning to the last game, actually. They're going to have to go down to the southeast once again in order to get themselves into this game. Shots fired from afar, and with a couple of the Saints actually falling out of the car, they're going to have to try and defend this position as is. I believe it's still the squad over at York taking those shots. More teams on the way, though, to converge onto these Weeping Woods. See who's that in the blue just up ahead here? Mikahu is rare. We have a couple other teams coming from the streets as well, so Saints may not know what's about to hit them here in just a moment if they are not careful. As long as they're kind of making their moves through the the buildings, through the parking lots, and through all these like kind of closed off areas. They probably won't get spotted out too quickly. However, there's going to be a lot of eyes on this area, especially right around the border of the safe zone, as we do see a couple wolves making things a little bit interesting there for the Saints. The meat, of course, of these wolves being a fantastic healing item. And then, if you're going to kill the animal, you better make use of it, if you know what I'm saying. So, gonna be able to use it for crafting later on. As an engagement here for the Saints, Ciri nearly is kind of bobbing and weaving here, and now Wolf is getting involved as well. A little bit of revenge there onto one of the players. I think he may have tagged Juneyy up for a second. No more fun for Mr. Wolf this time by, and the Saints are going to try and retreat as this Storm's about to like shrink on in. Granted, they are in the safe zone, so they don't have to make a move necessarily, but there is another team coming from the top side there. Who is this? That's going to be Berkeyfin and Doinks. That's going to be Temple University making their way from the top. Of course, starting off from the northern sides. Laysix gets himself a good position to try and get the jump off. It may have been a little bit wiser to try and wait for everybody to shoot at the target at the same time, because he tagged them for 2, but then by the time the rest of the reinforcements started taking shots, they were not able to do it. That one player is going to end up making a run for the hills here. But it's not going to get tagged up, at least by Laysix anyway. A little bit of a sniper tower here for the Saints. Ciriuhs still just on the scouting run, keeping himself rather safe up here on this high ground. More shots fired, and of course this bow and arrow is not the stinkfish version, so you can't smoke out these players, not yet anyway. Needs to find does need to find a stinkfish, I think, to make that happen. He probably has enough bones already from all of the wildlife that came and attacked them. A couple players coming in from the south as well. Cooler Gamer. And that squad already has a couple of eliminations to their name as well. Ciriuhs, shots fired. Not going to make contact as of yet. Sleevetron going to take care of control, looks like, elsewhere. So one of the members of Johns Hopkins University going to be going down nice and quick into this game. I say nice and quick. I know it's been a couple minutes into this game, but there's still 30 teams alive. It's still extremely early, as we do see Ciriuhs in a point-blank battle here with MCore. Does have Lucky there as well. Now, Juneyy and Laysix, thankfully, there for the Saints, are all pretty much within the same arm's length of sorts. Just kind of all in their own sections. So MCore and Lucky, that's from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, placing 4th in their playoff heat earlier on Monday. And one of my favorite usernames, Derpy is fishing, but he has gone down as well. Ciri. And the rest of the Saints just trying to get control over this area. It's a little bit of a battle here, but it's not going to be necessarily a fair one. It's going to be Saints find themselves the elimination, but just has to deal with a couple other members on this side of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And sure enough, Saints are going to finish the job there. Saints going to get themselves 3 points on the board and get to keep this positioning up here on this high tower. So a much better game already. However, the pressure is still on. Got to make up for points from the last games, and you still have a far distance to travel. Not necessarily a whole heck of a lot of time to do it, as the storm is about to make its way over once again. It seems to have been a basically a tale of the tape for Monday as well. Every single game that the Saints were playing, of the 6, I think 5 made it so that every single time the storm changed locations, they had to run like maximum distance. There may have been one game where they built a fort and they were actually able to stay in it. Meanwhile, Laysix, he's just going to sit in the open and pop some shots over at a team over on the far side. And granted, he is going to be able to get some shield damage. And surprisingly, no return fire. He would have been a sitting duck in that situation. In fact, finally some returning fire, but from a completely different squad from behind. Saints are kind of in the middle of 7 teams as of this moment, so they have to be extremely careful. Saints on a collision course with two teams, and then two teams might jump onto them if they are not careful. Still 25 teams left here in this game. And then don't worry, everyone. Anytime the thing pauses, that isn't your computer. That is just Fortnite servers trying to catch back up. Of course, we are on a bit of a delay. Seb is going to find himself a kill this time. So, much better compared to their first game. We definitely struggled. Some good shots from Laysix. Does get the knockdown. Can he finish the job? In fact, is going to be able to do so as Juneyy is going to finish off. That's 29 swerved. One of the players I was given a hard time on Monday. They do make it into this game themselves, but it's going to be Saints shutting them down again. But the third time in a row, we've been able to get the jump onto them. That being said, they did jump us that one time on Monday. Shots still fired. Best position right now, it would probably be the Saints on the high ground, but they're going to have to move. We do see Beggs and 7 there. That is the University of Maryland. They wiped us out in the last game, and going up against them would be extremely scary. We did see how much, not how much, but how good Mars's gun skill is here in Fortnite in that last game of Monday's game, taking out or winning the 1-on-2 versus Juneyy and Laysix in the late game scenario. Iconic Prezi, they're going to get themselves a little bit exposed, going to blast them away. Laysix looking to finish a job, however, leaving himself open. Ciriuhs and Laysix are going to find themselves 2 kills. A much better game here this time for the Saints, even if they end up going down now. That being said, though, I want to go as far as possible. The juicy points are still probably just about 2 to 3 minutes away. Just got to hang on in there. Don't get too overzealous. However, that is a lot of blue. And blue is not too bad in regards to weapon area. It's not amazing, but it's something. Having said though, Laysix pretty much fully loaded, ready to go. Does get jumped on a little bit here, but gonna keep on moving. Ciriuhs trying to make some high ground space for himself in the squad. Stendo find himself a good run here, and that's going to be empty and Sej going down. University of Western Ontario basically losing their entire team at this point. The ideal play going down. I believe that is it for the Miami University of Ohio for now anyway. As we see, we're going to get really, really messy. That is a lot of players within a small little space, and it's only going to get smaller, of course, as this game keeps on pushing forward. And this time, let's take a look at healing items actually here for the Saints. Sure, looks like Laysix has himself 2 of the first aid kits. Juneyy has shields, but no healing in regards to green health, and same thing there with Ciriuhs. So Laysix, I feel like, is probably in the best situation for a possible late game push, unless the Saints can manage to find themselves a couple more eliminations, find themselves some more healing items in that way. You can tell the Saints not necessarily sure exactly where they want to start making their move. The Storm is going to be moving in just a second. But they have a little bit of distance to go here. Supply packages coming in too. It's another possibility in regards to some healing items, but that is so risky to go for. I don't think the Saints are going to do it. Probably wise, you don't just dive towards the cornucopia. That gas is going to make things extremely difficult, especially since it just completely ignores your shield and just eats away at your health. There's a name I haven't quite seen yet here. The Plunger Mecca and its Alfie. That's from the University of Texas, Arlington. Find themselves in a late or early late game scenario. Early late game, that makes perfect sense. But it makes sense for Fortnite players. You know what I'm talking about. And okay, here we go. So Laysix starting to pass around some of these health kits. They want to make sure that they're in perfect fighting fit for this next scenario coming up. They heal up real quick. Let's take a look and see what we have in the vicinity. Exceed and Elite Connor right around the corner as well, alongside the York University squad. Smarty and Crispy, haven't seen them for a little while. However, had themselves a fantastic run on Monday. Ciriuhs right around the corner from possibly dealing with them. Laysix and it's about to run into the University of Maryland there with Bags, Mars, and Seven. Definitely a squad you do not want to mess with right now. Back and forth battle here now between the Saints and Elite Connor. Yeah, Saints versus Bay State, and now the Red Squad seems to be point blank here with us as well. Stinky Farts was near us, but it looks like he is going to get blasted down by Jaskella. Now, this is definitely nerve-wracking. We're going to get ourselves a massive leg spec, and we're going to go right into a battle, considering how point-blank these teams are, fighting for this tiny space. Laysix getting smoked in regards to the storm, and he does not heal in time. He will end up going down. Had one of the meat on it, or the one meat as well. Could have healed his way through, but just could not tank it out this time by. So Laysix will get dropped. That being said, though, Saints in regards to positioning, much better this time. 10 teams still left in this game. 27 players total. Oh, they try to get the jump on the Bags, and it's going to be the... How does Bags do this? 7 with the perfect turn and burn onto the Saints. It's not going to be without casualty, however, as Mars does end up going down. The Bags, he got jumped by 2 of the Saints point blank with shotguns, but 7 turning around and saving his bacon, just going to keep him itself in the game. Crazy teamwork from the side of the University of Maryland as they continue to push forward for possibly a victory royale here in this matchup. But still, in regards to the Saints, so there's a top 10 finish, so definitely a way better game. Going to shoot themselves up into the points, into the rankings a little bit better compared to last time by. As we see most of the action right here, dead center. Somebody just spilled their guts of sorts. Loot all over the ground, and these teams are going to fight for it. Right along with Bay State. They're about to make their way towards University of Maryland. Sergeant Sash is going to be putting himself in a bit of a rough spot. And he's going to get taken down. 7's going to get jumped on, though. Beautiful job there from the side of Bay State to take down one of the heavy favorites. 6 teams left to go. I'm not sure where Crater is from, but I've seen him on this kill feed quite a bit in the last couple seconds. Hush as well there from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee find themselves up there in regards to a good finish this time. Exceed looking to try and heal back up. That being said, though, will go Cool Gamer and King. This is just such a good game for them. They started off with a bunch of frags and eliminations, and they are doing such a good job to get themselves this far into the game. More teams, 3 teams left now as Crater is eventually going to finally go down. 2 teams on the bottom, and it's going to be Hush and Pozic there in the bird's eye view position. Best case scenario there from them. Hush is going to start making his way down. Can he finish the job? Him and engage Stendo. Point blank there. Nice little shot from King, though. We've seen from our ride along a little bit earlier with King. Definitely a very good gun skill player. 2 teams left to go. Just a matter of dealing with this squad on the bottom, and all 3 members, they're jumping on it, and Cooler Gamer's already down. Where's King? He gets taken down as well. The Will Go goes down, and that means there's only 1 team left to go, and that is going to be Hush Pozic. And where did he go? It must have just disappeared, I believe. That might have been Stendo taking victory royale here in game number 2. That is going to be the North Virginia Community College. They're going to be taking victory here in the second round. Of course, the second seeds from Heat 2 coming in clutch and showing why they were placed so high in their playoff heat. But a solid run for our Saints in that one as well. Making top 10 is definitely not shabby at all, especially with the amount of eliminations they got in that game. It's interesting to see already how some of the landing positions, some of the strategies are already kind of changing here for some of these teams, and I like what I'm seeing. I'm glad that they're just not throwing themselves up against the boards and just hoping that it works. I'm going to quickly take a look and see where that puts us now, as it does appear that as of right now, this with a game like that, it definitely bumped us back up in the rankings, and it would be kind of funny considering the Saints 15 just seems to be the lucky number here for them, as they've made themselves back in the 15th position as of right now, just behind Dr. Duke and his squad there over at Ashland. Let's take a look and see who's leading this as of right now. So with that one, which is interesting too, because I feel like Elite Connor, they have, well, I guess they're in the top 5. So yeah, they did very good as well. So that means Bay State College, which isn't even necessarily a favorite right now. They were 5, 6, 7. They were 9th in our heats during the playoffs. One of the squads, they did really good. They got a victory royale in game 1 of the playoff heats, but then they kind of fell off from there. That being said, though, with a start like what they've had so far, they can keep this up. It'd be an absolute upset if Bay State can make the run there. And then Hush, Posic, and Stendo just winning game number 2 there was absolutely clutch there for them. But without further ado, we're going to take ourselves a very, very quick second to get set up for game number 3. Wait for the delay to happen so we can hop right back in here. Saints getting themselves back into the swing of things. Game 1 was a little bit rough, but game 2 was exactly right on the money. That's what we like to see there for our Saints. See if they can keep pushing on forward in that regard and see how far can we push ourselves up the rankings here to finish off this Play vs. Fortnite trio season. We'll be right back.